Welcome back. On Friday at CPAC, President Trump warned Republicans not to get complacent about the upcoming midterm elections. Democrats could also heed that advice. In a bid to shake things up, the party in California has declined to endorse their longtime senior senator, Dianne Feinstein, in her bid for another term. Maxine Waters, the Democratic congresswoman from California, took the stage this weekend at the convention to drum up support for building a unified blue wave in November. And she's still not letting up on President Trump.
Democrats, I don't care what the Republicans say. I say impeach 45. Impeach 45. Impeach 45. Impeach 45. My gun is bigger than your gun. My rocket is more powerful than your rocket. And on and on and on. All I see is two heads of state, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, both who have questionable agendas and questionable mental health.
Wow, they're pretty strong. But Dana, let's go to what I think was big news this weekend. You get an 84-year-old Senator, Dianne Feinstein, not endorsed by her party as she seeks a fifth term in the U.S. Senate.
When you think about the Bernie Bros during the last election, there's a real pull between the pragmatists of the Democratic Party, of which there's a shrinking number, and the progressives. And in California, progressive is where you really want to be if you want to succeed in Democratic politics right now. You think of Tom Steyer and Nancy Pelosi. Like, she continues to give the Republicans a lot of fodder to run against her. So I think that I wouldn't say that Feinstein's not going to win. I mean, if she wins the primary, she's probably going to win because the Republican Party is so decimated there. But I do think that this loose talk about impeachment absolutely helps President Trump. Maybe not himself and his approval ratings, but it will galvanize Republicans to go out and support other Republicans in order to prevent that. You can't impeach somebody just because you don't like them or that their rhetoric isn't good. And in fact, I would say that there's one Democrat really making this point. Susan Glasser interviewed Congressman Jerry Nadler in the New Yorker, and so he was head of the Judiciary Committee, and it would be up to him. And he says, my view of impeachment is to be very careful that when Tom Steyer is saying, I will only give you money if you pledge that you will vote for impeachment, that Nadler says that is very premature. So I feel like the elders of the Democratic Party are trying to tap the brakes on this because they realize it's not the path to victory, and you cannot impeach someone because you don't like his Twitter account.
Right? All right. Well, but Kimberly, just to quickly finish up on the Dianne Feinstein point, she got 37% of support from the Democrats in California this weekend. 57%, just below the 60% threshold that would have won him the endorsement, went to Kevin DeLong, who's the Senate leader in California. And the key issue that apparently differentiates the two is long support for immigrants.
Well, okay, so, you know, it's pretty appalling. I mean, I know Dianne Feinstein very, very well for really just, I guess, the majority of my entire existence on the planet. And I know her well from San Francisco, and she's, you know, been a tireless public advocate. I find her to be one of the more reasonable Democrats, which is probably why they are not supporting her, because she's actually very good about the United States military, national security, foreign policy, has common sense as it relates to the economy, tax issues, and so they want to go so far left and so liberal that they're going to seek out people like that. They want people who are like bomb throwers, but it's going to really fracture and alienate, I think, a lot of voters that might have gone Democrat, this new kind of like platform the Democratic Party has. And so, you know, I think it's disappointing that they're doing this. Obviously, immigration is something that's like a hot button issue right now, but just goes to show you Democrats don't even know a winner when they see one.
Jesse, do you think it's a legitimate argument to say, well, 5 terms, she's, you know, 84?
Ageist.
That's fine. I mean, if people don't think she's fit at that age, then they can primary her out of there. It doesn't really bother me that much. I just think the Democrats, the whole platform of I'm going to take your guns, let's impeach Trump, and Russia, Russia, Russia is a garbage platform and is not going to do anything for the Democrats if they want to take back the House. Trump's at 50% approval. The economy's humming. Russia, Russia, Russia does not.
Did you say 50? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, well, check the internet. It's all over the place. And then the Russia stuff doesn't move the needle. It might motivate a small portion of the people, but that's fine. That wasn't the CPAC poll, by the way. That was
I'm just thinking of the other ones this morning.
Okay. And listen, they can motivate a certain segment of the Democratic base with that stuff. That's not going to get them over the hump. Democrats have almost ceded the economy to the Republicans because none of them voted for the tax cuts. They have to carve out an actual policy platform besides Trump is mean and racist and mentally ill. It has to be something maybe on health care or education or college tuition.
Guns.
I don't know, because they lost the House trying to take back guns before. I don't know if they're going to make the same mistake again. They very well might. But the polls right now show an even race in the congressional midterms. So Democrats right now, they're in deep, deep trouble. They know it. And they haven't learned any lessons from the 2016 election.
Sometimes I worry about where you get your information, but I want to go to Greg.
Sometimes.
I don't know. So I want to go to Greg because,
Yes.
Greg, I wanted you to comment on Maxine Waters and the Impeach 45. Is that going to be a new slide? Will we get hats?
Yes, we'll get hats.
And T-shirts?
You know, the thing is, I want them to continue down this path because the best way you can elect your adversary is be irrational about how much, like, if you are irrational in your anti-Trumpism, it will only help him. The same way calling Obama a Kenyan-born interloper helps Obama. Like, the more, every party has that extreme. Yes, but I was doing it to mock people who believe that. Unfortunately, they didn't know I was mocking them. But, and here's a serious point about this whole impeachment thing. Remember what happened after the Clinton impeachment? Something called 9/11. It's a correlation, not an observation. I mean, it's barely a correlation. It's an observation. But it's a kind of political distraction we choose that ends up ignoring certain catastrophic threats before us. If we get so bogged down in this stuff, we don't see the other things in front of us. And you could argue, like, Clinton was so, like, he spent all his time trying to cover up the stuff he was doing, and he didn't see what was coming down the pike.
What happened to Clinton's approval ratings when they tried impeachment?
Went up.
All right, a California mayor feels it's her duty to keep ICE from doing their duty. She's tipping off illegals that the feds are coming. Next.